Sometimes you plan a backpacking trip when permits come out in March, and then by the time July comes around, the trail you were supposed to hike is maybe on fire and maybe also covered in too much snow. So you adjust. Luckily, living in Colorado means there is no shortage of beautiful wilderness areas to backpack in. So when Indian Peaks didn't work out, we pivoted to the Eagle's Nest Wilderness, which just so happens to be very close to where I live. Exploring this area felt a little bit like exploring my own big, beautiful backyard. I got a tip earlier in the week that glacier lilies were in full bloom in this area and would only be around for a short time. I've never actually seen or even heard of them before, so I wasn't sure what to expect, or really even what to look for. But when I saw them, I knew. I've learned since then that glacier lilies follow the melting snow line from the valleys up to the subalpine zone, a sure signifier of the beginning of summer in the backcountry. But they don't last long and usually disappear by July, so we got lucky. Soon after the fields of glacier lilies, we hit intermittent snow and muddy trails. My feet were soaked and muddied in my attempt to avoid widening the trail. Over the years, wet feet have started to bother me less and less, and it's proved to be a huge advantage for both the well-being of the trail and my ability to cross rocky streams. This whole section of our loop was incredible. Treeline gave way to some beautiful high alpine terrain during my favorite part of the season. I don't mind crossing a little snow if it means it still lines the mountains, highlighting their contours and unique features. On our way up to our only pass of the trip, we were even treated to a couple of alpine lakes. Since I hadn't yet applied sunscreen to my legs for the day, I couldn't possibly pass up the opportunity for a quick dip. Despite the lake being lined with melting snow, it wasn't as shocking as I anticipated, or maybe I'm just getting used to it by now. The group was kind enough to wait for me while I indulged, and after a little bit of time drying in the alpine sun, we continued up the pass. The last few stretches of incline were almost completely snow-packed, but conditions didn't call for spikes and post-holing was minimal. The top of the pass revealed sweeping views on both sides. We could still see Red Peak to the north, with Buffalo to the east, and the 10-mile range newly visible to the south. After a brief celebration for the end of our elevation gain on this trip, we began our descent into a beautiful meadow. A few of us took a quick offshoot to explore a bit more and add some miles to our day, but that trail was mostly in the trees. We spent a bit of time deciding where to camp when the marked spot on our maps did not appear to be an established site after all, and eventually found a place for all of us to pitch our tents. We cooked dinner and played a few rounds of golf, the card game, before heading to sleep. In the morning, we had about 5 miles back to the trailhead in our cars. We packed up quickly after a scary emergency phone alert set off all of our phones. Luckily, it turned out to be specific to one neighborhood and not the whole county. We passed the popular and appropriately named Lily Pad Lake on our way out and finished another successful weekend in the backcountry of Colorado.